after we remind you guys that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook, and you can start the NFL season with a big return on FanDuel. Right now, when you get in the hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We're going to talk about Deshaun Watson and his matchup against this Washington secondary. We want to give you guys some numbers on how porous the Washington secondary has been through the first 4 weeks of the season. Through those first 4 games, Washington's defensive back secondary, that entire pass defensive unit, ranks 27th in opponent completion percentage. That means they're allowing a ton of completions at a high rate. 22nd in opponent passing yards. They are dead last, the worst third down defense in football. The Browns are the worst third down offense, so something's got to give there. And their opposing quarterback rating is the highest, so it's last 32 out of 32 in terms of the highest quarterback rating against. G, to your point, if there was ever a defense that Deshaun Watson and this offense can exploit, it very well may be this Washington Commanders unit.
They ain't nothing special. They not like, it's just a bunch of guys back there, but a bunch of guys in the NFL still means you're pretty good on any given Sunday. But, you know, it boils down to, you know, sometimes you just gotta not lose. You gotta look at yourself and say, I'm not gonna lose this game. Like, think about what this means. It means more for a rookie-led Washington Commanders team with no expectations this year. It means more for them than it does a room full of veterans, a quarterback that's on the brink, a head coach that looks like, you know, he may be losing the ear of the entire team. Y'all got to be desperate this week. Like, it ain't no half. Like, this is done. Like, y'all got to go in there playing like this is your playoff lives right now, 1-4. And we need all hands on deck. And if that takes yelling, screaming, arguing, fighting, celebrate, whatever it takes, y'all got to get it done. Because, you know, right now, I'm looking around the league and I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns. Watch that game last night. Didn't it seem like them two teams? You see how hard they played last night? Did you see how hard they played? Them dudes be playing. They played like if their life depended on it. I have not seen that one bit from the entire team or the coaching staff. I saw the head coach come up to the dude and give him a hug at the end, like he had saved his daughter's or dog's life in a car accident. Come over here, Kurt. I love you for that, what you just did for us. I ain't seen it. Y'all better have that. I'm telling you right now, Jason, this the season right here.
Well, too many times we've seen some of these national games with some of the top teams, and it looks like they're playing a different sport than what the Browns are playing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And that is the frustrating part. But to that point, and that's why I actually have a really good feeling about this game and how Deshaun's going to play. I know everyone thinks I hate Deshaun. I actually think he's going to play really well Sunday because I don't know if it's a playoff team, but I know that they're not a 1-4 team. I know there's too much talent for us to be saying that the season's over the first weekend in October. So I firmly believe they're going to win this game. Like, I'm really confident. If I could bet, I would probably bet the Browns to win. Like, that's how comfortable I feel with this game, just because they know their life is on the line, and they know the odds of coming back.
What's the spread?
3.5 was the last I saw.
3.5.
I really think that there's too much talent on this team for us to be having a eulogy on Monday. So I just think, like, it was like the line, the Big Daddy line, when he's on the stand, I have to be a good dad. Failure is not an option. I have to do. Well, that's how I feel about, like, we have to win this game because there is too much talent here. This is too good of a team to be a 1-4 football team.
And some stuff, I think, Jay, you listen to Sean King. I think Sean says it, he believes the light's coming on. Like, there's some things he'd be like, dang, that's a good throw. Or dang, that's the right read. But
or everything's really close.
Really close. All you need to do is finish this, that, and there, just a little bit off. And so that gave me a little bit of hope because, as you said, they're one holding penalty away from us talking about a completely different game this week.
Yeah. Sure.
So, but the thing is that Coach Stefanski has to have his team ready and playing with that same belief system that they had last year. Last year, Jay, it didn't matter who they ran out at quarterback. The Browns believed that they still can win no matter if it was P.J. Walker, DTR, or Flacco.
And they got it done.
Believed, and they got it done. Yeah. That's still there.
Sort of to Sean's point that he was making, I personally believe Houston Deshaun is dead and he's never coming back. But certainly, you can get better play than what you've seen so far. There is a big range in here of what we're talking about, of where he was and what he's shown to be now. There's a lot of room in here. So even if, at some point we all have to move the goalposts. I have not. Like this is what I expected to get. This is what I want to get.
Yeah, but no, you just did though, because you said Houston Deshaun's dead.
He's gone.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
So you have officially moved off what we thought we were getting.
Well, I've held firm to this is what I expect. But at some point,
okay.
But at some point,
but you decided that we're never going to get that.
But reality has to kick in at some point.
Okay.
Sort of like the playbook, and if you're playing against the Giants team that's got a tremendous defensive front, and all you're doing is throwing deep shots down the field, that may be. But at some point, you have to live in the reality where you are.
That concept, Jay, is so fascinating to me. Like, are we ever going to see him again? Here's what I'm watching this year in the NFL. I'm watching maybe one of the best quarterbacks for sure in Sam Darnold. This is a guy that clubs have given up on.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is with his fourth team.
Yeah.
There are other examples. Right now, David Carr at times with that Saints offense. Now, I don't know what's happened the last 2 weeks, but the first 2 weeks, it looks like they reinvented Drew Brees down there. I think the collective fandom and media had given up on Darnold. They'd given up on Baker. They've likely given up on David Carr. There's other examples. And it's just weird to me as this game is evolving and we've seen the offenses evolve, maybe that's giving guys that had one skill set a chance to rejuvenate their careers. Because Baker is a likes to roll out, likes the short passes. As the defenses are taking away the deep stuff, it's almost like the skill set needed to be a great quarterback now isn't the Mahomes of the past. It's the Darnolds and the Bakers.
Well, I haven't seen enough of Darnold. I haven't seen hardly any of him this year. So
I've just seen highlights, but he doesn't look like Sam Darnold used to look.
I also think, I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I think some of this is on the quarterback. Baker had a lot of maturing to do.
Right.
A lot of, from when he was here. I don't know that we would ever seen this version of Baker in Cleveland. There's so much that goes into that. I don't want to get into it at 12:10 on a Friday. Darnold as well. How much maturity and humbling on his point to be everything that he's been through, to say I need to break myself down and build. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
When you look at Andy Dalton and Flacco and like these guys, these graybeards that have been around and the success that they have, just come in and just flinging it. These are veteran minds who understand we're just going to take what's there.
Sure.
Think about it like this. You know, they talk about how the human male mind does not mature well into
25.
25, right?
I'm 48 and it hadn't happened
Right.
yet.
Yeah, I'm still waiting, and I'm 59.
and think about it like this.
I still wonder what would happen if I set a rock on the railroad tracks. That's not a good thing.
Most people don't even really find out what they were born to do into their early 30s.
Yeah,
and then you hit your stride. A lot of these teams are banking everything on these quarterbacks. And like you said, it takes a mature person to understand when somebody is telling you you're great at this, you're good at this, and you have a very small sample size in college, and you got to prove it against the highest to high. Sometimes these people know in their mind, I ain't that good. Like it's one of, like, think about it. Like, you can feel in your heart and soul like, I'm a gunslinger, but you might be a play action guy.
Right.
Yeah, right. I don't think Sean would mind me sharing this, because I actually talked to Sean King a few years ago for a story I was doing on Dearness Johnson, I think. I think Dearness and Sean have a close relationship. And it was after Dearness showed out on that Thursday night game. Remember? It was. Yep. I think it was a Thursday night game. And he had a great game. And I called Sean. It was like 11 o'clock midnight. And I called him, and we talked about Dearness. And that was Baker's last season in Cleveland. I think it turned out to be his last season. Mm-hmm. And Sean just making conversation, just said, so where are you at on 6? What do you think? And I'm like, no, it ain't there. And he said then he felt like Baker was trying to play like Mahomes, and he's not that guy. But he's trying to do things he is not capable of doing. And
That's smart, by the way, because I think that's accurate.
And I think as you look at the evolution of Baker, I wonder if maybe Baker has been humbled and realized, I'm not that guy. This is who I am. And he's leaned into and taken advantage of the things that he's really good at.
And you know what? I think even though their time together was brief, I think the best thing that ever happened to him was going to Los Angeles. I really do.
I said that at the time.
I said that's the place for him.
Absolutely.
And I really think that McVay has a fascination with Baker. And I think that we may one day see Baker in a Rams uniform again. But the reason I say that is because, and they talked about it on the telecast last night. We remember a year ago, Baker was traded on a Tuesday. He left Carolina. I don't even know if he was traded. They may have released him. He went to Carolina, from Carolina to the Rams on a Tuesday. He got in Tuesday night. They played a Thursday night game. And Sean McVay, he had one day to prepare him. He gave him the basics of the playbook. He said, I'm stunned how fast he absorbed the entire playbook. But the other thing I told him is, we're going to keep this simple. There's going to be a few concepts that we lean on, and there'll be variations of those concepts. If you remember, in that game, Baker and the Rams got the ball, I think they were playing the Raiders, at the 2-yard line with no timeouts and very little time left on the clock. And Baker pulled off a John Elway-like drive in the game that knocked the Browns out of the potential to go to the Super Bowl. And I think what that taught Baker is, I don't have to be that gunslinger. I don't have to be Patrick Mahomes. I can win with taking what the defenses give me, but you got to be smart enough to see it and recognize it. And I think since that point, that's the Baker we've seen, and look where his career is.
Yeah, he's been humbled.
He was.
He's been humbled.
Big time.
So, hopefully we look at this situation, and this is an opportunity for the Cleveland Browns to extend their season. And it's a shame that you got to talk about it like that.
In week 5, it is a shame.
But I'm going to see if Kevin Stefanski has him ready to play. There's no excuse for it.
They need to come out like it's a playoff game, period. High intensity, smack them in the mouth, and see what happens.